We are so back, baby. You know how we're back? The opposing teams whining about officiating. There's conspiracy theorists online. The offense is the best it's been since 2022 when Mahomes set the all-time combined yardage record. The defense, which I was worried about after week 1, has progressively gotten better, the Jags game notwithstanding. Rashee is back. We're done with it. The suspension's over. And if they're not the best team, who is?
Ever since Patrick Mahomes became the starter in Kansas City, the Chiefs have been on a warpath to become the league's next dynasty. Since 2018, they've been a juggernaut, collecting 3 Super Bowls, competing in every AFC Championship game, and making it all look easy along the way. And guess what? In 2025, that does not look like it will change. After a rough start that sowed seeds of doubt throughout the NFL world, the Kansas City Chiefs proved that they are still at the very peak of their powers, with statement wins over the likes of Detroit and Baltimore, confirming that the path to glory still runs through Arrowhead Stadium. Like it or not, the scary truth about these Kansas City Chiefs is that they're just as good as ever, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. As with any conversation about the Chiefs, let's start with the star of the show and the best quarterback on planet Earth, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes came under serious criticism during each of the last 2 seasons, as he was nowhere near his brilliant best, putting up a passer rating of 93.5, a mark lower than the likes of Tua Tagovailoa, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson in that span. There's no denying that Mahomes had something of a down year by his exceptional standards, but in 2025, he looks back to his best. He's firing more deep balls down the field and is clearly more intentional on tight window throws than he was last year. He slashed his turnover numbers from 2024, which has led to a much improved QB rating and seen him shoot up the leaderboard in most statistical categories in 2025. However, pure numbers can never quite tell the full story. Mahomes has built a reputation for his phenomenal ability to improvise, innovate, and create thrilling plays on the move that seem impossible for anyone else to replicate. Mahomes is a 2-time league MVP and 3-time Super Bowl MVP for a reason. He's a man whose skill set elevates his team like few others who have ever set foot on a pro football field. In Week 6 of the 2025 season, the Chiefs faced a Detroit Lions team that was 4-1 coming into Arrowhead, and had moved to the top of many power rankings, hot off an impressive 4-game winning streak. However, they were handled in a 30-17 loss at the hands of Mahomes, who finished the game with 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 132.2. The opening touchdown set the tone for this game, with the Chiefs trusting Mahomes to go for it on 4th and 3, where he found Xavier Worthy in the end zone to open the scoring and put Dan Campbell's Lions on the back foot. This was a serious battle of heavyweights. These teams won a combined 29 games during the 2024 season, but on this occasion, it ended in a comfortable victory for Mahomes and his men, sending out a serious warning to the rest of the football world. Pat Mahomes looks calm, collected, and composed, both in and out of the pocket, and has retained his uncanny ability to come up with a big play whenever the Chiefs need it. Few teams have punted less than KC this season, and the biggest driving force behind that is obviously the guy wearing 15 under center. And all of this is a big reason why many are backing him to win his 3rd league MVP this campaign, which would tie the career haul of a certain Tom Brady. Whilst he might not put up the obscene numbers that he did in his astonishing 2018 MVP season, it's arguable that this version of Mahomes is in fact a better player than he was during that campaign, more experienced, better decision making, and more of an X factor than he was 7 years ago. It really should go without saying, but if Patrick Mahomes is healthy and at his very best, this Kansas City Chiefs team is a seriously scary proposition for any opponent. And the rest of the offense finally looks to be on the same page this year. Part of the reason for Mahomes' less than stellar numbers last season came down to his lackluster receiving core, with Xavier Worthy leading Chiefs wideouts with just 638 receiving yards, a far cry from the kinds of numbers Tyreek Hill used to put up at the height of Mahomes' success. Now, this offense might not have a true superstar receiver like Hill, but this is a solid group with a good mix of youth and experience, as well as an impressive combination of deep threats and solid route runners. The speed in the group comes principally from Xavier Worthy, whose 4.21 second 40-yard dash ranked as the fastest in the history of the NFL Combine. This electrifying pace was enough for the team to use their first rounder on him in 2024, and he spent his rookie campaign building up a strong relationship with Mahomes, which culminated in an impressive playoff run where he racked up 287 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns across the team's unsuccessful three-peat bid. Worthy has struggled with injury already in 2025, but when he's healthy, he's a serious threat on this offense, as are Marquise Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Smith-Schuster is a former Pro Bowler and was previously a Super Bowl winner with Kansas City in the 2022 season, a campaign in which he posted a solid 933 receiving yards. He clearly has chemistry with Mahomes, and if the team can unlock that connection again, he'll be a scary threat on this offense. As for Brown, he missed most of his first season in Missouri with a collarbone injury, but the franchise had enough faith in him to give him a 1-year extension in the offseason and bring him back for 2025. So far, he's repaying that faith, with 2 touchdowns in that Week 6 victory over Detroit, and it looks like there are many more where that came from. We haven't even mentioned Rashee Rice yet, because he's missed out a significant chunk of the early season, but he too brings reliable production when healthy and available. Finally, we get to Mr. Taylor Swift himself, legendary tight end Travis Kelce. Whilst Kelce is not the game-wrecking force he used to be in his prime, he remains one of the league's better tight ends, even at the advanced age of 36. Kelce is one of the very best to ever play the position, and he still has something to offer in this offense, as a safety blanket in the red zone, on third down, and really any other tough passing situation. There's more than enough in this passing attack for Mahomes to work with this year, and the running game also looks capable of pulling its weight. Mahomes has never had a 1,000-yard back to lean on during his time in KC, and this edition of the Chiefs feels like yet another running back by committee. The tandem this year once again is Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, 2 men who saw their 2024 campaigns heavily disrupted by injury. But when healthy, they're a solid running back duo, and more than capable of creating problems for defenses who are already dealing with the threat of Brown, Worthy, Rice, and Smith-Schuster through the air. And of course, Mahomes himself is more than capable of making huge, game-changing plays with his legs where he has to. And we haven't even got around to talking about Steve Spagnuolo's defense yet. Spagnuolo has been the Chiefs' defensive coordinator since 2019, and under his leadership, KC has gone from being a bottom 10 unit the year before he arrived to a top 5 unit in both the 2023 and 2024 seasons. At the beginning of the Mahomes era, he was constantly having to put up absurd numbers as he was being dragged down by one of the NFL's worst defenses. Now, even on the days where Mahomes struggles, he'll be kept in games by the coaching brilliance of Spagnuolo and the individual playmaking abilities of the likes of Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie, both of whom were named All-Pro in 2024. Jones is a real force of nature on that defensive line and a leader in the locker room as well. Now entering his 10th season on the roster, Jones has cemented his position as a legend of this remarkable era of Kansas City football, having picked up 6 All-Pro selections as one of the very best players in his position throughout his time in the league. Elsewhere on the line, George Karlaftis has emerged as a real threat, more than capable of getting to the quarterback and making big plays off the edge. Guys like Karlaftis and Jones strike fear into the hearts of any quarterback in this league and cause serious headaches for offensive coordinators to scheme against, as does cornerback Trent McDuffie, who has been named to All-Pro rosters in back-to-back seasons. According to Pro Football Focus, McDuffie was the very best corner in the game in 2024, beating out even Sauce Gardner and Marlon Humphrey to that honor, largely due to just how impressive he is in man coverage. As a result of his dominance in passing defense, quarterbacks have targeted him even less this year, the ultimate compliment that can be paid to an elite cornerback. As a result, the responsibility has fallen on the likes of Jalen Watson, Brian Cook, and Jaden Hicks elsewhere in the secondary, and they've all contributed to one of the best passing defenses in football. With the serious threat of Jones and Karlaftis up front, and Trent McDuffie locking down receivers on the back end, there's no doubt that this is a scary defense, especially when it is being masterminded by one of the game's best DCs in Steve Spagnuolo. Of course, this team is also led by the very best coach in football, in Andy Reid. The football season is here, and this year, I'll be using ProfitX as my go-to for season-long plays and player props. ProfitX is America's #1 sports prediction market, where you can win real money predicting sports in 40 plus states. You'll get better odds than traditional sports books because you're playing against others, not the house. With ProfitX, you can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. And here's the best part. Right now, if you sign up at ProfitX.co and use promo code TDK, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Sign up now at ProfitX.co and start winning real money predicting sports. Terms and conditions apply. Reid is now in his 13th season in charge of the Chiefs, and his 142-53 record during his first 12 seasons is nothing short of remarkable, as he's transformed Kansas City from perennial nearly men into one of the greatest winning machines in pro football history. Now, obviously having Patrick Mahomes at quarterback has helped immensely with that, but it's impossible to deny the impact he's had on this team on and off the field, both as an elite tactician, but also as a great man manager who has helped change the culture within the organization through his own leadership, which has trickled down to the locker room through guys like Mahomes, Kelce, and Jones. And no matter how hard others keep preying on their downfall, people really should have learned their lesson with these Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has only just turned 30, so the rest of the AFC has to brace itself for more Kansas City division titles, AFC championships, and Super Bowls for years to come. We've seen KC show out every season in big games against elite teams, and 2025 is proving to be no different. So far, they've racked up statement wins in the form of decisive victories over Baltimore and Detroit, both of which have been offensive clinics, showcasing Mahomes at his very best. For other teams and quarterbacks, the bright lights of playoff football can prove too much, but for Patrick Mahomes, it's just another day at the office. Mahomes has already won 17 playoff games as a starting quarterback, a frankly ridiculous figure to reach before the age of 30. The three guys most often considered his peers, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson, don't even have that many combined, highlighting just how special this run of dominance has been. Winning is just in their DNA at this point, and looking around this AFC, it's difficult to pinpoint a team that looks ready to take the crown off them. Buffalo is, of course, a perennial threat, but losses to New England and Atlanta have raised questions over Sean McDermott's men, and whether they have the consistency to go all the way in 2025. In any case, Buffalo's biggest issue is the mental block around toppling this Kansas City team, having fallen to them in the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 seasons. As good as Josh Allen undoubtedly is, the road to the Super Bowl still requires him to get the better of Mahomes in a playoff game, something he has yet to achieve. Other potential preseason contenders like the Bengals and Ravens have seen their seasons derailed by injuries, and in any case, the Chiefs have already handled the Ravens in a fairly straightforward Week 4 meeting. Elsewhere in the conference, surprising new challenges are emerging from the likes of the Patriots, Colts, and Broncos. But what all of these teams lack is experience at the top level of this sport, in January and February football, which is where this Chiefs team excels. And so, of course, does Patrick Mahomes. He's back to his best. He has the offensive weapons he needs to do damage to any team. They've already toppled top contenders, with more on the horizon. And they have a coach and a roster that's been to the mountaintop before and knows how to get there again. These Chiefs are quite simply inevitable, and they are just as scary a prospect as they've always been. When Super Bowl 60 kicks off in Santa Clara on February 8th, don't be surprised to see Mahomes, Kelce, and company running out that tunnel again. But do you see it happening? Or will this finally be the year that the Chiefs fall off? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NFL content just like this.